welcome to the first podcast of 2019. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing good. I'm glad we're still doing this in the year 2019.
Yeah, I thought we'd all be dead by now, personally, but
give it 3 months and
give it 3 weeks. But, yeah, so thought we'd kick off proceedings with a review of Bird Box / Bandersnatch / Banderbird.
Panda bird. Yeah, the kind of...
Or Banderbox.
Well, we can decide. That's what we've kind of found out in our kind of viewing. But yeah, they're kind of the two most talked about films of Netflix, and kind of in December. It's kind of crossed over to the new year. Kind of millions and millions of people have watched it. I've had loads of people kind of talk to me about it. Kind of, oh, have you seen it? Have you watched it? It's amazing. It's great. It's kind of overhyped it. So
yeah, that tends to happen with these kind of things. But I have to say I enjoyed them both. I thought they both had their faults, but overall, the more I've thought about them, the more I've enjoyed them quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I think we'll discuss Bird Box first. So
yeah.
What was your initial thoughts of the film?
So yeah, Bird Box. It's kind of. I'm guessing it's in the present. Kind of this idea of this kind of mysterious force, kind of sweeps the nation. Actually, sweeps the whole entire world. This kind of a epidemic. And you have to keep your eyes closed, because if you look into this kind of mysterious force, it makes you want to kill yourself.
As you know, most things do.
Yeah, I found a lot of similarities between kind of A Quiet Place and Blink from Doctor Who, the kind of the angels.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. There's also another horror film on Netflix called Hush.
Yes.
Where the person can't hear in it, which I'm yet to watch it, but it's kind of like we've had horror films based on all the senses in the last 3 years or so.
Yes, quite recently, and it's a pretty good concept. And kind of overall, I think it was a pretty good film. You know, it was very hard to kind of justify the hype surrounding Bird Box. But people kind of highlight like, oh, it's terrifying, it's scary, but I found with Bird Box, it wasn't that kind of. It didn't have that much of a tense atmosphere, because to kind of not get attacked by this mysterious force, you just had to close your eyes, which, you know, anyone can do. You know, it's not like keeping your eyes open or kind of keeping quiet. But yeah, I kind of thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was kind of all in daylight, which is kind of random, kind of weird for a
quite
horror.
Rare for a horror / thriller. I felt that.
Yeah. So, but you know, it was a very good concept. Sandra Bullock apparently said that she was blindfolded 50% of the film, and there's actually kind of videos of her walking into the camera because she can't actually see. So
because she's stupid. I kid. But no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it could have been scarier.
Yeah,
is one of my only criticisms of it.
Yeah.
Because everyone had hyped it up to be this terrifying thing, and I think its ultimate downfall was that you actually never saw what people were seeing.
Yeah, which
I know that's the point,
yeah.
but I'd like to have seen it kind of maybe like a silhouette of what they were seeing, or a shadow.
Well, they did actually film a scene with the actual kind of. I don't know what to call it. I've been calling it a mysterious force, but this kind of thing.
It's like a being, isn't it? I've seen the picture of it. It kind of looks like a baby's head.
Yeah, and the director was like, it looks a bit stupid, so they kind of cut it out. I kind of like the idea that you don't see it, because there's a lot of kind of horror films that kind of show you too much. There's kind of...
Yeah, what I was thinking of during it was a good way of doing this is the film Signs.
Oh, okay, yes.
Which is one of M. Night Shyamalan's earlier good films.
Yeah.
Where an alien kind of like pesters a family on a farm, really.
Yeah.
And you don't really see it until the end, but when you see it, you see kind of like flashes of it, like its leg walking into a wheat field, or the silhouette of it against the moon stood on top of a roof watching him.
Yeah.
Or just going past a window, and I thought stuff like that would have benefited it, because you would actually be scared that there is actually something.
Yeah.
And the reason that stopped me being creeped out was I wasn't seeing anything to be scared of.
Yeah, there was kind of like this kind of dark shadow that would kind of kept going past. But yeah, it was it can kind of work two ways. you can kind of like show like bits of it or kind of in reflections, but yeah, kind of
Yeah, a reflection would have been good because you wouldn't have been able to see it properly.
Yeah.
Or, like if you could see it in like someone's glasses or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty good film. It just kind of lacks the kind of fear and terror you kind of expect from this sort of film. I thought the cast was great. John Malkovich and
John Malkovich is always
Yeah,
good in everything.
yeah,
He's one of those actors who can make okay films really good because he's in it.
well, I thought it was a great character piece because I kind of liked his character, even though he was kind of portrayed as kind of
He's a bit of a dick, wasn't
yeah,
he?
the bit of a dick. But he kind of
But in that scenario, everyone would be, I think. If you found a supermarket no one had found, full of food, toiletries...
I would have stayed.
You'd just stay, wouldn't you?
I would have stayed, yeah. But you've also got Trevante Rhodes from the...
Moonlight.
Yeah, from Moonlight. And I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays Charlie in the film, but he's also in Get Out.
Oh, Little Ray, he's called. Little Ray something. I can't remember his name.
Wow, I didn't know. I would have remembered that if I...
The TS, motherfucking A.
TS, motherfucking A. And
Consider the situation. Fucking hell. Sorry, go on.
And the funny thing is, I kind of like those characters. But I thought Sandra Bullock's character was a bit of a dick and just kind of...
She treated those children poorly.
But boy and girl.
Yeah, I know. I was like, then she was like, one of you's going to have to die. Like spoiler, that doesn't happen. But...
well, you can kind of justify why you would do it, but I just found like Sandra Bullock's character was very cold and kind of emotionless, and there was no kind of reasoning behind it.
Yeah, because in the films she's been in the past, she's been quite a nice character, hasn't she? And in this one, it was kind of a
it was a very
cold persona.
Yeah.
The actor we were thinking of, by the way, was Little Ray Howery.
Oh, that's it. But and there was also a weird kind of in the beginning of the film they kept mentioning horses, and nothing came from it. I think they mentioned horses about 10, 12 times, and then there was a news coverage of a horse going across. It's like, okay, horses are going to play a big part in this film, and it was never mentioned again. So
yeah, I thought there was a few things that it didn't really make sense because I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. They said if you see someone committing suicide, that makes you kill yourself.
Yeah.
And there's a bit in the hospital where Sandra Bullock sees the woman killing herself, and she's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Well, John Malkovich sees his wife kind of go into the fiery car. So I've actually just brought the book. I think it's 99p on Kindle at the moment. Cracking deal.
I'm going to read it, I think, just because I thought, that'll be... I want to see how different it is. Apparently the ending's quite different.
Well, I kind of like the kind of, not really twist ending, but where they were actually going. I was like, oh, that's a cool little caveat.
I won't say what it is, but I do agree with you, like where the end...
Yeah, I was kind of like, that probably is the best place to go.
Yeah.
And I also like the... because... I think kind of the story writer or director may have noticed that there wasn't much danger and kind of added the mental patients that...
Yeah, that was another weak part of the film, I think, for me, because it was just like, oh, mental people can't die from this thing, and I was like, oh, you're going to explain why? Yeah,
there was no explanation, but I did like that, it was just to make the environment kind of filled with more danger, because without them... all you have to do is just stay indoors and just not open your curtains.
Yeah. I just felt that was the weak part of the film with Tom Hollander's character, Gary, where everything just goes to pot once he's there.
Yeah.
It was just it was like really predictable. It's like, oh, he's going to just ruin everything for everyone.
Damn you, Tom Holland.
But no, apart from it, just kind of felt like the mental asylum. They were just there. I don't know if they're in the book or not. But they were just there just because the film needed, like you said, the film needed something to be scared of.
Yeah. But we're kind of shit on this film, but kind of overall, I did actually thoroughly enjoy it. Like, it was, I said, a good character piece. It was a kind of there was moments where it's quite tense.
I think the tensest moment for me was the scene on the rapids.
Yeah, the rapids, and also where that random mental guy came up on the boat.
Oh yeah, and you could just hear his voice
Yeah.
at first.
I thought the kind of the final kind of 10-15 minutes was pretty good with the kind of mysterious force thing kind of chasing them, but I didn't really feel that much in danger because you just had to keep your eyes closed. It was just,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I did like kind of thoroughly enjoy the film. It was hard to justify the hype that it got, but a lot of people have kind of shit on the film because of it. But no, I enjoyed it. Good cast.
Yeah, it's been a good few years for horror/thrillers. I think it's like the more
Oh yeah, it's
the lesser known horror films or stories are the ones that tend to be better when you see them at the cinema
well,
or on Netflix.
kind of horrors kind of had a kind of a resurgence with kind of Get Out and It and
Hereditary,
yeah,
was meant to be quite good,
Hereditary,
that came out last year.
A Quiet Place. These kind of films are getting more recognition for kind of it shows what horror can do
Yeah.
when in the right hands. But yeah, Bird Box, very good film.
What would you give it out of 10?
I probably would give it about a 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 7 because there's just like a few moments where it was rushed a bit.
Yeah. Maybe kind of, it said, kind of hint at what is actually there. Like,
Yeah, I think it could have benefited from maybe being 15 minutes longer.
yeah.
But apart from that, they're my only gripes about it because I do want to watch it again. I want to watch it with other people just to see how they respond to it.
Yeah. But no, but very good. I recommend anyone to watch it because it still kind of invokes that kind of a good horror. So
Yeah, just another moment where I thought was quite tense was driving in the car when they couldn't see out the window and they had to follow the sat nav.
yeah, I thought that was a fantastic idea of using the GPS as a sort of kind of a way to get around and kind of the parking sensors. I thought that was great. I wish they would have done it, kind of used it more.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking something's got to go wrong here for them, and when nothing kind of did, it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that would have been a good place to have a bit of threat/peril.
And then Machine Gun Kelly stole the car.
See, I didn't get his cameo. He was just literally there to steal the car, and for a 3-second sex scene.
Yeah, I was a bit like, come on, that
So
doesn't happen.
I can see why Eminem hates him.
But yeah,
But
it was,
no, a good film, a good enjoyable film.
yeah, I'll give a couple of thumbs up there.
Yeah. How many gold blooms did it get? That's the question.
Probably about 3 gold blooms out of 5.
Yeah.
Out of 5.
I'd say that's fair. But okay, so on to our next topic, which is the interactive film of the Black Mirror series, Bandersnatch.
Yes.
Which was announced earlier last year that there would be an interactive episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Well, it wasn't officially announced. It was kind of rumored, and then there was kind of like hints, and then bam, release. Here's the interactive film.
Yeah, well, I'd heard rumours about it in like summer
Yeah.
last year, and I was just thinking that would be an absolute ball ache to make.
And it sounds like it was, because I think
Yeah, because Charlie Brooker at first apparently wasn't too keen, but I was watching a Netflix featurette,
yeah,
and it just said he kind of came up with an idea, and he was like, "Oh, this would be really good." But then it looks like it got quite out of hand.
Yeah.
Because it showed a flowchart of the plot points, and it just looked insane.
yeah. And these sort of kind of films, or any sort of medium that has an interactive element that kind of branches off, it kind of needs, if you're writing one book, you have to write 5. Or if you, I think Charlie Brooker said the filming this was like filming 5 Black Mirror episodes. Kind of.
Yeah, I can see why they don't want to do any more again.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Because just to say, I actually love Bandersnatch. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It's kind of up my alley. I kind of like video games like Heavy Rain, Until Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken quite fondly of those games
Yeah.
together. Like, it's just good because sometimes stuff like that, like, can get a bit predictable. But if you, like I said, making your own story for it, it's like you never know. You just don't know how it's going to end.
Yeah,
And I prefer that you are also as much as in the dark as the person on screen.
Oh, absolutely. And this is kind of the positives of interactive media, is that the choices I make will be completely unique to what I choose compared to you. Like when we finished watching Bandersnatch, we said, "Oh, what did you choose? What ending did you get?" So it kind of creates that conversation.
Yeah, because I've been talking to everyone, like said, you need to play it just because I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I've had a friend who I've been pestering all week to play it,
Yeah.
and they think that I've kind of the game has got to me. Like,
But
I was like, I'll start scratching like lions on my wall, stuff like that. So.
well, this is the thing. With kind of Bandersnatch, the actual storyline actually does limit kind of the actual gimmick of interactive media. Kind of just that one episode, because it's about a person who wants to create a choose your own adventure game from a choose your own adventure book
Called
Bandersnatch, and you as a viewer kind of choose his adventure, and he starts to become aware of you. He starts to become aware of the viewer. So it's a really cool kind of plot. It's a very cool kind of story.
Yeah, that to me was very peak Black Mirror,
Yeah.
where he started to become aware. Because I'd kind of thought, oh, is this going to be how it pans out at first? But I thought, nah, they won't do that, because then that'd just be a bit of a cop out. But the way it does pan out, I was like, I like that.
I like the kind of breaking the fourth wall and kind of meta jokes. But they could never do another episode like this, because where do you go from here? Do you go? Do you not put? Because to me, the reason why I like Bandersnatch is that you actually felt like you were ruining his life.
Yeah, I mean, because I try not to get too into games, because it's just like when I play stuff like Red Dead Redemption or Grand Theft Auto, sometimes when I accidentally kill people on it, I do actually feel bad sometimes. I'm like, oh wait, these are just a CPU, so it like does not reflect on anything I do in the real world. But I think because it was an actual person, you kind of felt like it was your job to not make him into a bad person, because I think we can all agree his dad's a dick.
Yeah, Dad is.
Dad was a dick to we'll call him. He's called Stefan, so Dad was a dick to Stefan.
Yeah.
And it's like these choices came up to be horrible to your dad, but I purposely went out of my way to not be horrible to him.
Well,
The only bad thing I did to him was tell him to fuck off if the option comes up.
Well, I guess spoiler alert. I killed him.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that option kept coming up for me, and I never picked it. But eventually, he does just kill him, and I was like, Stefan, you're letting me down here. I've made you a good guy throughout all of this, but
it was very hard to keep him like on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, that's what I was, because I just thought I'll do like a normal playthrough first, then my next playthrough I'll be a bit more adventurous with it. But I didn't even get the option to chop him up in the end.
I did.
It just buried him in the garden.
Yeah, that didn't work. The dog finds him. But yeah, I kind of, the actual vehicle of Black Mirror works perfectly for this kind of episode and this kind of, I'm gonna say gimmick, because that's what it is, because I don't think it'll be kind of the norm interactive media, this kind of choose your own adventure.
I hope there isn't too much more interactive, because it would overdo it then.
Yeah, it'll kind of I think Black Mirror's kind of cornered the market, and kind of they've done it kind of to perfection. There's no point trying to imitate that, because it would just...
Yeah, because I think with if you've got Charlie Brooker writing something, you know it's going to be good, or if not good, at least interesting.
Yeah, it makes you think, this kind of this illusion of free will. So yeah, it works perfectly. And another bit I like of Bandersnatch is that if you make a wrong choice and you kind of go back, the characters are aware that you've gone back.
Yeah, I did that with because there was a few things with Colin and the games mogul.
Yes. Did you?
And they were just like, "Oh, how do you know all this?" and stuff like that. And it's just like, "Oh, yeah."
Did you accept the first?
I accepted it first, but then it sent me.
Yeah.
Your game just flopped because that nerd just grills you.
Oh, that nerd.
I just find him really annoying.
He's supposed to be annoying because that's kind of.
He is the embodiment of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that might be a kind of a small little critique. 2 stars out of 5.
It's just like you wound me up. But anyway, it was. I just thought the characters were genuinely good as well. I was a bit gutted for Colin.
Yeah, well, the thing. Well, this is the kind of the hard part of kind of trying to review this, because in some kind of branches, Colin he kind of disappears but turns back up again. Um, so he dies in some, he doesn't die in others.
Yeah, because on mine, I got really confused because spoiler. We can't really talk about this without
There's
spoiling it. But I chose to kill myself first, just because I thought, I wonder what'll happen. And then I just died. I was like, oh.
yeah.
Then Colin died. He died. Like that was it.
Yeah.
But then I made a few other decisions. But it kind of like, has anyone seen Colin? I was like, he died.
Yeah, but you.
But everyone else seems to think that he's still alive, and I'm just like.
Yeah, but he died. But then you wake up. Kind of, it was like I thought it was some sort of dream, because you wake up and you turn up at the doctor's place.
No.
Oh.
It just kind of went. Oh, and then it was just like famous games creator Colin, what's his face, died. I was like, okay.
Oh. This is the thing. Like I've heard from a few people that they've made similar choices to what I have, but they've got kind of a different experience. Like I don't know how complex this kind of outbranching that is being created, but it seems to be more complex than I kind of originally thought, because there's one secret engine that no one knows how they get to, but it kind of plays a piece of audio that if you kind of convert it on your PC, it creates a QR code, and if you scan the QR code, it makes you play Nosedive, the game that Colin creates. So there's like really cool like alternative endings that might take a few weeks, months to find. Because apparently there's over 1 trillion possibilities for Bandersnatch.
Yeah, I think the ending. What happened to your character at the end? Did he just die? Because that's what happened with mine.
I think mine got arrested, and then it kind of ended with the woman making Netflix Bandersnatch.
Right, because with my ending, I went back and got the teddy bear off his dad.
Yeah.
And which then leads you to make a decision to go with your mum on the train.
Yeah.
Oh no, and I went with the mum on the train, and obviously because he died then, and then he just dies in the doctor's office.
Yeah, Dr. Haynes.
The therapist.
Yeah.
And I thought, that was interesting, because if he's died in another timeline, does that mean he's died in all the timelines? But
well, apparently that's the actual ending.
Yeah, that's what I got from it, because most people I know who've played it have had that ending.
Because I think all the other endings, I don't know, because I haven't actually seen that ending. I've only kind of read about it. Does it end with just them dying and then going to the credits?
Yeah, and that's it. And then his game gets like a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 from the 5 stars out of 5.
But no, yeah, that's it. But you get other choices. Once he starts to become aware, he tells his doctor, and she's just like, "Do you want more action in this?" And you get an option where it's like, "Yeah" or "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, yeah or fuck yeah.
You have a fight with nunchucks and stuff like that, and I thought, "What the hell's going on here?" But I like it.
Well, if you kind of try to jump out the window, it kind of zooms out. It's a film set.
Right.
So again, there's alternatives, and they mention Netflix, and like, what's Netflix? It's 1984, so they have no idea what online streaming platform is, and so it's got quite a few kind of fourth wall breaking jokes, kind of meta jokes.
Yeah, I did quite like that though. I was like, oh goodness me, this is very meta. I was playing it. But no, I don't really have a bad thing to say about it.
I don't. I don't. I honestly don't know. I wrote a review about it, and I swear there was bits that I didn't like. Maybe kind of there were some kind of I don't know. I felt like you kind of were kind of pigeonholed into making a decision.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, that would be my only criticism of it. It's just like sometimes you had to make the creators the writer's decision.
But I kind of, if you flip that, maybe that is the illusion of free will.
Oh, good God.
The whole theme of the episode, kind of, we think we have control, but in the end, there is a greater power controlling our decisions.
Maybe someone's controlling us to make a podcast about Bandersnatch.
Oh God, we have gone down the rabbit hole.
We are through the looking glass, people.
But I actually love Bandersnatch. It kind of, you can kind of get tricked into watching this for like 4 hours. I think
Yeah, I mean, it says it's an hour and a half, but I must have played it for about 2.5, I reckon.
yeah, if you don't make any decisions, it will play for an hour and a half, and that's it. But yeah, I think we played it for about 2 hours, and we saw a couple of endings that were like, that'll do. You know, we've kind of got the whole gist of it. But no, I did love it. Because at first I was hesitant because there's with films, I'm like, I just want to watch a film and quite be passive. But again, with the vehicle Black Mirror, it kind of works because the focus is not on the characters; it's more focused on you, kind of making those choices. And I felt I've never wanted to be a subject of a Black Mirror episode, and I still don't, because I felt bad.
So you don't really fancy being in the pig episode?
I am the pig. But no, I absolutely loved it. I love Black Mirror. Season 5 is still coming. People were like,
it's out in February, isn't it? February, March.
Yeah. Oh, it's obviously been because last season was released in December, so it was delayed because of this feature-length episode.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've tried watching Black Mirror, but I can never really get into it. The last episode I watched was the synthetic boyfriend episode with Domhnall Gleeson and Hayley Atwell.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie, it just broke my heart, just because of how sad it was.
They are fantastic. That one's pretty good. But there is some proper kind of big hitters.
It's made me want to get back into it. And watch it proper.
If I could recommend a couple, like 5 Million Merits, has the main guy from Get Out on.
Daniel Kaluuya. I've seen the first series and I've seen half of season 2.
There's one I really like. It's called Heated in the Nation, where they get bees to attack people. Bees?
Like how a bee movie.
Yes. But kind of the nation decides with like a hashtag is like pretty much on the whole the kind of every episode is kind of unique, depressing,
and woke as hell.
I also recommend the Star Trek one.
USS Callister, is it?
That's a great one. And San Junipero, the one that won a Golden Globe or Emmy, one something.
I am going to check it out.
Yeah,
it's not it doesn't strike me as a series that you just say, oh, let's watch Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's
like you can do with something like The Office or It's Always Sunny.
It's not bingeable. It's taken me a kind of a year or two to kind of watch through them, because you know they're very deep, they're very woke.
Yeah. But if you were to pick any film that you like to be an interactive film, what would you pick?
Space Jam, of course.
Space Jam. Because I was thinking like Bird Box would be a good one,
but
a good interactive game.
I think horror as a whole would work, because
it's just like an option comes up, it's like there's rustling. What are you doing? It's just fucking run.
Get the hell out of here!
It's just since I've watched Bird Box now, every time I've seen heard rustling in the bushes, I'm like, oh shit.
Close my eyes.
But yeah, like you said, any horror would be a good
or
interactive film. Like you said, the prime example of it, horror, is Until Dawn.
That's kind of a good example of kind of choosing decisions.
Terrifying Until Dawn.
I think like kind of films that have like an alternative reality. So like stuff like The Matrix, you can kind of play with like.
Yeah, Ready Player One would have been a good one. Actually.
Yeah, that would have been another fantastic kind of choose your
Or
own.
Zack Snyder creating the DCEU, and it's just like, do you want to destroy this beloved franchise before it's even started? Yes. Like,
And the only two options are yes and yes.
but yeah. Anyway, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up there.
Yeah. Both films are great, and it just shows that Netflix is kind of a powerhouse at the moment, kind of on a roll of kind of
Yeah, even if they have cancelled their best series,
cancel their Marvel series, which
no, I would say Daredevil is their best
Yeah.
original series. It was just great, but that's for a different day because it still makes me angry.
an American Vandal.
Oh. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Next episode will be the best of 2018 and a preview of 2019.
Yes, it will indeed. I look forward
So,
to.
thanks for listening. Share with your friends. It would be good to get listeners, subscribers.
Like, share, rate, comment, subscribe, jump.
But yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening and
Thank you very much.
goodbye.
Bonsoir.